Welcome here to Let's Flirt. How's everybody doing tonight? This is Big Sauce, your host. Joining me in studio, Dana, or DC as we like to call her. Jess the Love Gun is at Fenway Park this evening filling out the paperwork required for her new part-time gig working at Fenway for the Red Sox. Somehow I don't think she'll be single for much longer when the rabid baseball animals of the greater Boston area find out she's hooked up with the Sox. But we shall see. Each week here on the show, we talk about your online dating experiences, which more often than not end up being horror shows. People misrepresenting themselves online in every way imaginable, catfishing, and a plethora of other sinister ploys the vapor virtuosos can dream up. So how can you combat it? Well, you can be certain that without without performing an in-depth background check, like an investigation or an exhaustive interview, the person you're communicating with in these dating websites, how do you know who they say they are? Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I have an answer for you. Let me start by saying, who knows you best? You're probably tempted right now to say your family, like mom, dad, your brother, mother, sister, cousin, whatever. But think about it. We all hide things from our families, don't we? Wouldn't you agree more that your friends know you better? Your friends, they know your assets, they know your liabilities and limitations, your character flaws, and your character strengths. They've been with you through the good times and the bad times. And after all of that, they're still friends with you. That's got to count for something, right? Well, in comes FriendFlirt, a whole new approach to online dating. No hiding behind fake profiles here. FriendFlirt is a Facebook application that scours your social network, looking at your friends and friends of friends' connections and a multitude of attributes that you have in common to locate compatible matches for you. And when you see someone you like, you can simply ask your friend for an introduction, just like you do if you were out with those friends at a bar and saw a friend of a friend that you liked, except with FriendFlirt, you already know you have a boatload of things in common. You can spend more time discovering and enjoying those compatibilities and less time wasted with someone whom you're trying to make a square peg fit in a round hole. So improve the quality of your dates and improve the prospects of finding your ideal partner. Sign up now at FriendFlirt.com and get ready to friend source your love life. Welcome again here to the show. Also joining us in studio, famous Boston blogger, I call you. You're the only person I know that can drag a few hundred people out into a bar one night. Elise, or EB as you go by. Can we use your last name? Is that okay
yeah,
to
you
do
can
that?
Use my last name.
And how do you pronounce it? Is it Bogats?
Bogaz.
Bogaz.
Yeah.
Is that the CZ at the end? Is that Hungarian?
Polish.
It's Polish?
Yeah.
That was a bad guess. Hungarian, Dana? What do you think? How come it's so hard for me to tell nationalities by names? You know Italian names because they end with an O.
Yeah.
And you know Irish names because you say them when you're drunk. But I don't know, man. The CZ, so it is Polish.
Usually C's, Z's, J's, or K's, all Polish.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So I know Jess has a CH at her last name, but it wasn't a CH. She said it was changed or something like that when her relatives came over from Ellis Island. But so I'm glad you're joining us today. We got so much to talk about. I know last week's show was so much fun. It was kind of our first show. We're settled in a little bit more now, right? And I got to raise my microphone up here. We have video going. So if you are listening to us on IDEO.com, you can also watch us if you want to turn on your video. If you go to IDEO.com and you click on the FriendFlirt logo or Let's Flirt logo, you'll be taken right to the webpage, and you can see us right now. We're in studio. Wave, say hello. You can interact with us on Twitter. You can hit me up at I am Big Sauce. Dana, did you get on Twitter yet?
No.
Are you ever going to be on Twitter?
I will fight technology.
I believe you will. Elise, you are all over Twitter.
I am all over
Twitter.
Twitter.
So how can folks get a hold of you if they want to tweet at you?
I'm at Elise Bogaz, ELYSEBOGACZ. Or you can get at me on Twist Boston, TWSS Boston.
TWSS Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And that stands for That's What She Said Boston.
Yes, sir.
Which is your blog. That's what she said Boston.com. I started following your blog about a month ago. And I'm enjoying some of the stuff. You got some great writers. But how did you put this group of people together?
It all kind of started my junior year of college, and the first writer that I added was Bromeo, and he was a friend of a friend of a friend who I didn't really know, but he just seemed like there was a good fit, and we were all at Flannel Brian's in Mission Hill, and I went up to him and I was like, so, like, do you write? And he was like, I do, actually. And I ended up, like, roping him in, and he likes to pretend that he hates it, but he loves it.
So he thought you were hitting on him at first.
Oh, no, God.
Oh, no. He never, okay. Just checking. Well, today we're going to talk about some of the online dating horror stories that the listeners and viewers have submitted to us. And as always, we're here for you. So if you have a story you'd like to tell us, you can email 2 ways, social@friendflirt.com. Maybe, Dimitri, you can put that up on the video. Can you type something up to the folks and type like, hey, here it is, social@friendflirt.com? We're figuring that stuff out. We've got some pretty cool video stuff going on here, and you'll see that coming up in a little while. We do have some multiple camera angles. It's the art of the web. But you can email us here, social@friendflirt.com. You can also email letters at bigsauceradio.com. That'll come directly to me, and I love reading your stories, so please send them along. You can also leave us a voicemail. We really like that. The number is 724-472-8235. I believe that is on the IDEO website. It's also on the Big Sauce Radio website, and I think I put it on YouTube, too. So if you go to bigsauce.com, you can see the archived episodes here of Let's Flirt. It's easy to remember, 7BIGSAUCE5, 724-472-8235. Leave us a voicemail. Tell us your horror story. And without further ado, I do have our first story of the evening. Are you ready? I'm not sure what dating site this came from, but one of our listeners submitted, I wasn't having any luck on the big dating sites, so I decided to try smaller, more personalized ones. I didn't do any research before choosing one that sounded promising. Just a quick Google search. Soon after joining, I started getting really odd messages from men on the site. Every single one asked me what my favorite animal was, which was so weird. Finally, I asked one guy, why was that such a popular question? And he replied, well, this is a dating site for furries. Do you know that? Do you know what that is, Elise?
Yeah.
You do? I have no idea. But I'll tell you, it is people who get a sexual thrill out of dressing up in animal costumes. I was mortified and signed off immediately. Elise, why do you know about furries?
Because after Taylor Swift's We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together video came out, I was convinced that she was a furry.
She might be.
I was convinced.
I don't, I'm on the fence about Taylor Swift, to be honest with
I'm
you.
not
I thought you were going to say about furries.
I think she's beautiful. I love to look at her, but as soon as she opens her mouth with that sappy, surly, sweetie, suck it. Just suck it, girl. I don't want to hear it. Tell me something that's interesting. Every song she writes, every time she sings, it's never anything happy.
Right.
It's always like, come on,
I
really?
mean, honestly, if you're dating guys between the ages of 18 and 30, and or 35, how old is John Mayer now? I don't know, but like narrow it down, have some standards, like pick a type and stay there.
Well, I do respect that. I mean, I think she should date a biker all the way down to like a prima donna disco boy. And I do enjoy the fact that she does, spread herself around a little bit. But is she sleeping with these guys? Is she giving them hand dookies? I don't know what she's doing.
Oh, God,
Really.
please.
Sorry, Dana.
Elise
I had to
doesn't
throw
know
that
the
in there.
hand dookie. I don't think we need to get into that. You've never gone. Oh, goodness.
So we're gonna hit out some Twitter right now. So Elise, I know you have your Twitter. Our hashtag is # Let's Flirt, LETSFLIRT. If you are listening live, you can always tweet at us. Dana, you're not on Twitter, so we'll have
I'll work
to.
on it.
You work on that. We'll have to count on Elise to see some tweeting that's happening since our Jess the Love Gun is at Fenway Park, and I know she's listening on her cell phone right now. So hopefully she gets the job too as the announcer. I know she's in the running for that. So I think maybe we can bring some of the Red Sox players in here and hook them up. What do you think?
Maybe.
So furries, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone.
That's
So,
surprising.
Yeah. I did see or hear something on the Howard Stern show this week or last week about a guy. I think they were talking about My Strange Addiction. I guess that's a show on A&E or
That's
FX
an
or
awesome
something.
show.
You've seen?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the guy who is like sexually excited by balloon animals?
No, I haven't seen that one.
I don't think they call them furries, but yeah, he's big into balloon animals. So he had this collection of balloon animals, and he wanted to marry one of them he was talking about. I mean, really?
There was a guy who was having sex with his car. I mean, that's totally different. And there was a girl who drank her own pee, and she took a bath. And I mean, these are different things.
Well, I know there was a guy or a girl who drank gasoline, which can't be healthy.
No.
No.
I mean, yeah.
And then there was that other guy who could actually have an orgasm by smelling old shoes. That I thought was quite interesting. I mean, I love smells. I mean, perfumes. I can differentiate between. I used to be able to anyway. Different perfumes that women wear. But yeah, I guess the olfactory senses can be quite sexually gratifying to some folks. Here's another story submitted to us. I went on a date with a dude I met from Match.com a few years ago, but we really didn't mesh. Then he recently messaged me on OkCupid to introduce himself without recognizing me as the girl he'd recently gone on a date with on another site. I messaged him back to say WTF, and he never even answered. You know, how is it, Elise, have you been on some of the you've been on some of the dating websites?
I made an OkCupid profile last year, and I documented it for the blog. Made a video.
Oh, nice.
I think I had like a bottle of wine and made an OkCupid and like recorded the whole thing, and did updates with my messages in my inbox. So.
Wow.
Did you get hit up like by 40, 50 guys in the first 10 minutes?
I was answering the questions, and it was like what, like it was like belief questions and like would you rather this or that, and I clicked back over, and I had like a notification. I clicked on it. I already had 5 new messages, and my profile had been viewed like 120 times, and I only had my profile up like 15 minutes. 2 days later, my inbox was full, like at capacity. We couldn't take any more messages.
Think about how full your other box would be. If you were...
Oh my God.
Should I bring up my soundboard of sound effects or no? No,
I don't know.
I won't do that now. I know. So, but I think, I was on the site. I was on Match.com years ago, and there was one other site I was on. God, what was the name of that site? I don't even know if it's around anymore. But,
Cute 14-year-olds.com?
No, I can't remember what it was, but I know it was a very simple site. But I had a few online dates, and I just knew that wasn't for me. Just horrible stuff. People so totally misrepresent themselves. They say they're a certain weight when they're not. They say they're a certain height when they're not. How do you combat that? There really is no way you can do it.
I don't think there is.
It's very hard these days to make a fake Facebook profile.
I think it's easy.
Don't you watch Catfish?
Yeah. It's actually scarily easy.
Scary easy, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
So do you think we could make a fake Facebook profile for a man and a woman and try to corral? It's not nice to do that, though. It's not fair.
It's not nice.
No. I mean, I did have an AOL account where I used to go into chat rooms and I would pretend I was somebody else or something else. But I don't, that was just for fun. I never made plans to meet anyone or do anything like that. I just, I went on there and I would pretend I was I would pretend I was a woman. I would pretend I was an older man. I would pretend I liked this or that. I did all kinds of things like that, but that was fun.
You're a horrible person.
No, it was just chatting in a room. I wasn't making plans to meet people. You weren't going to see me on To Catch a Predator. And if anyone ever said to me that they were underage, I immediately stopped the conversation. And I would send it because, it does feel creepy. I don't, as a 25, 26, 28, 30-year-old, I don't want to be talking to a 13-year-old, boy or girl. There's nothing we have in common. I was looking for interesting, sort of sexually stimulating conversation. And you can't get that with a kid. You need someone who's been through it and can throw the ball back and forth with you, can parlay off what you're saying. Do you guys understand what I mean?
You can't get sexually stimulating conversations with a kid. That's literally what you...
Listen, whatever.
I'm glad that you think that, and I feel a little bit better.
Have another glass of wine, Dana.
All right.
Next story here. This really hot guy and I had been... A lot of women submitting these stories, by the way. I love that, too. Women, keep submitting your stories. I love it. Please do. This really hot guy and I had been messaging back and forth for a while, and we decided to meet up at a coffee place. Good choice so far. I'm liking this story. He was seriously the perfect catch, so I was pretty psyched. I walked in looking for him. How did she know he was the perfect catch, by the way? I wish we could get in touch with her. I was looking for him when an older woman approached me. Long story short, she had set the profile up for her son without his knowledge and was pre-screening potential girlfriends for him. I was out of there in seconds. Now, Elise,
Yes.
since you're single and you've been through, or you were single.
I was single.
You
Recently,
were single.
I'm not single.
When did this happen?
Like last month.
Really?
Yeah. Very
Was
new.
it someone you met online, or?
You know, it's kind of funny. No, actually, it's somebody that I had known in the industry through my blog, and we had met at College Fest a couple years ago, but we stayed in touch through Twitter.
Oh, nice.
But, yeah.
And now he's here in Boston, or he always was here in Boston?
No, he's out of Rhode Island.
Oh, all right. Well, that's not that far. to
No,
drive.
not that far.
Yeah, it's a booty call, 2-hour drive, right?
Yeah.
So, but what would you think if you had met a guy this way and he had sent his mom, or his mom had created the profile and was pre-screening these? Would you stick around?
I know, absolutely not. Because then she's going to be telling, like, if things ended up working out with her son, then she's going to be telling me what wedding dress I'm wearing and what house I'm buying and what my kids' names are. And like, I don't need that.
No. Too much intrusion into
Yeah,
your life.
seriously.
What do you think about that, Dana?
No, I think it is a little bit creepy for sure. Because then, I mean, doesn't she have access to all the info? Like, what if you're sending him messages being, like sexy things, and then she reads them?
Totally
I mean,
creepy.
would she have access to all that information?
I would probably.
Imagine that. God, that's
Ugh.
wicked creepy, as they say here. Wicked creepy.
kid.
Wicked fucking creepy. Yeah. All right. Hey, how about this one? Online dating can produce some of the worst dates ever. The last guy I went out with brought a sock puppet on our date and tried to talk to me with it. To be cute, I think, but it freaked me out. Seriously, maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned, but no sock puppets, please.
Well, I'm sure that was his second girlfriend. If you
Did that sock puppet stand up on its own?
Oh, gross. He took it to a whole other place.
I think people have a hard enough time communicating these days. I know just by seeing the kids nowadays. I mean, my nephews are a little bit younger on one side, and then on the other side, I have nephews that are mid to late teens, and they don't interact personally. They're always texting or tweeting or Facebooking or something like that. But and when they get together, I see them together, and all it is like, holding hands and looking at each other smittenly. But there's no conversation. There's no give and take. It's very hard, I think, for people to. How do we combat that in this day and age?
I don't know.
No
ideas? I don't know. I think this, nowadays it's hard because that's how people, like, I'm friends with people on Facebook who, if I saw them in the street, I would hide. That's just, that's just how it works. I think.
But why are you friends with them on Facebook if you don't want to see them in IRL, right, in real life?
Oh, I didn't even know what that was. Because I want to know what they do in their lives without having to speak to them, and I want to compare their quality of life to mine, and judge myself constantly.
I'm so glad you're honest about that, because
I think
there's a lot of people that I feel the same way.
Yeah.
But I've learned over the past couple of years, because there's sometimes I see people that have posted things up on Facebook, and I'm saying to myself, I know that that's not true about your life. I know you well. But they try to maybe it's good for them because it makes themselves feel better. I know there's a girl that I knew years ago, or her and her husband, they got married when they were late teens or something like that, had kids right away. He was always a dirty dog, cheating on her behind her back all the time. And, I found out about it. I never said anything because I didn't want to be that kind of guy. I wasn't even following the guy code, so to speak. I just didn't want to be the one to let the cat out of the bag. So organically it happened. But I did warn him beforehand that all of his wife's friends knew. And you know what he said to me, the smug bastard? He said, yeah, well, sometimes that's the way things go. And I said, yeah, man, I wish I could tell your wife that, even though I can't. I mean, nowadays, and it's 15 years ago, there's nothing, what can I do about it now? But I think about it, like he was so smug and so arrogant about it, like he deserved it. Well, basically, he was telling me he got married too young and he never got a chance to sow his oats. So instead of telling his wife that and being honest up front, he went and snuck behind her back, and he was stooping some chicks.
Well, now there's, websites that facilitate that whole process. Like Ashley Madison and stuff, that.
Yeah, the married men.
Yeah.
Websites. I've known a couple girls that have gone on those sugar daddy websites too.
Oh,
which
really?
Is kind of weird. Yeah, and those are all married men as well.
Ugh.
Did they get some cash out of it?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cash for it's prostitution. It's cash for sex.
It's cash for, I guess, Skype sex.
Oh, God.
But
Really?
yeah.
So they have Skype sex with these guys? Can you tell me who these girls are? Your friends?
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Do they come to your parties and stuff?
Nah.
Listen, any way you can get it. I don't know. I have a friend who's been telling me for years he's going to invent this virtual reality thing where you can put it on your head and it covers your eyes. It's like a helmet, and you can experience virtual reality sex, but you'll feel the same feelings because it's going to be electronically pumped into your brain. So it'll send signals to different parts of your body that you will feel physical sensations from this. And when that day comes, when you can just punch up on a computer and bang any chick you want from around the world, then we know society is over.
Yeah.
It forgets surrogates like the Bruce Willis movie. You won't even need a surrogate. All you'll need is a computer in your house and some electricity, and you can have sex with Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, and Miss America in a threesome just by punching it up on your computer.
Without getting virtual herpes.
Exactly.
I think that's the nice thing, I guess.
Well, I could give a computer virus could be considered that. Yeah. But I mean, hey, if that will stamp out violence against women and stamp out rape, and what would you say to that? Would you be all in favor of virtual reality sex that's virtually like you're doing it?
I think that's what YouPorn is for anyway. I mean,
well, I know some of these porn websites have what they call the POV. Do you know this, Elise?
Point of view, I would imagine.
Yeah, point of view. Yeah, so you
can
if you can pick the point of view, like whatever perspective you would like to have sex with the girl on the screen, and then you click that up in the porn site, and you're watching it, and it's filmed from that perspective, from that point of view.
Know that
so if you're a guy who wants to do doggy, then you can punch up for doggy, and you say, I want to do doggy with Sasha Grey, and there it is.
That's so weird.
It is
weird.
It's
so weird.
It's like Nintendo, or like,
yes.
No, obviously higher than Nintendo. But.
Here's a quick one, another story submitted. This is from a guy. So we finally have one from a guy. I once went on a date with a girl who bragged about giving her ex a permanent limp by hitting him with her car out of pure malice. She thought it was a cute little factoid about herself.
You're saying you're next.
What do you think of that, Dana?
Oh, yeah. It's like, why not just, like, waving a giant red flag, I mean, that's like this.
She hit the dude with her car. I mean, really.
Well, did she say what he? I mean, not that anything justifies hitting someone with your car, but I mean, I don't know. That seems like a third date reveal, not first date. I mean, you should.
Even third date? I mean,
no,
is
I'm
that
just
something
kidding.
you reveal at all?
Hopefully, you've never hit someone with your car ever. But if
I want to do up this last one here, and then we'll move on. I think this one is pretty interesting, by the way. I was on a popular dating site when I started talking to what seemed to be a really nice guy. Some say a great catch. He was a criminal lawyer, and he believed in a lot of good causes. We exchanged a few emails, and then he chatted on the phone. Over the past few days, our phone conversations were hours upon hours long. I was enjoying meeting this guy, so obviously the next step was to plan a date in person. We decided to meet for drinks. I arrived first, so I go and sit at the bar waiting for him. As I was waiting, he called me several times to let me know he was stuck in traffic. He was about 40 minutes late, so I probably should have seen this as a sign. He comes in, I turn around, and he looked a little different from his photos. Okay, I can get past that. He used a few photos from when he was younger. I've seen that happen before. We proceeded to sit and chat. His conversation seemed to be a little self-centered, but I guess he was trying to impress me. As the conversation progresses, he tells me that his ex-wife is much prettier than me. I paused because I thought I heard it wrong, but as I made eye contact with the bartender, he gave me the same look I had. I couldn't believe it, so my date gets up and goes to the bathroom, and I took the moment to pay half my bill and try to make my getaway. My date comes back and sees what I am doing, then puts his hands on his face and shakes his head and chants, "Not again." He throws money on the bar, gets up and leaves me sitting there all alone. Then the bartender gives me a free drink and says, "You need this." By the time I got home, I had a voicemail, a text message, and an email from my date saying that he had such a great time and he can't wait to see me again.
Oh, my God.
Let's just say I never returned his phone call. Have you had dates similar to that, Elise?
I had...
Tell us, please.
Oh, my God. Okay, so I had this guy message me on Facebook, and I don't feel bad telling this story because I ran into him in downtown Lowell the other week, and he wasn't exactly nice to me. So, I had this guy who knew my roommate, and he messaged me on Facebook, and he was like messaging me being like, I want to take you out, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, not to like be narcissistic, but like dime a dozen, like I get these messages all the time because of like the blog and whatever. And I always just write them off because they're usually just like creepy guys. So he knew my roommate. He's like, I want to take you out. I want to do this. And my roommate was like, no, like go out with him. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. I'm like, all right, fine. So I ended up going to Lowell because that's where I'm from the area. And he goes to school down there. And he was like 45 minutes late for our first like meetup. And I was about to leave, and I was just like, I'm heading out. And he was just like, no, like, come here, I'm there right now. I was like, all right, fine. So I went over there, and we, like, chatted until close, which was cool. And then I went home, and we ended up hanging out a couple more times. But, like, he was so overbearing. Like, I would wake up, and I'd have, like, 3 or 4 text messages from him, voicemails. 6 days after knowing me, he came to hang out in my apartment, and he had written me a handwritten poem on handmade paper.
Oh no! Oh no, romantic.
Yeah, no. And then after that, I kind of told him it wasn't going to work out.
It sounds like he probably freaked out. Like he sounds like a clinger.
Yeah. He was such a clinger, and I had barely knew him. And he texted me, sent me this really long text message, and I waited until the next day, and I called him, and I was like, listen, this isn't going to work out. And he was giving me the line of like, oh, I should have been an asshole. Like all the girls love those, and I'm just like, there's a difference between like being like a really nice guy and just being like a weirdo. And he was like, clearly we have so much to talk about. I was like, actually we have nothing to talk about, and I have laundry, so like I'll talk to you later.
If it had been 6 months or a year into the relationship, I think you might have appreciated
I think
that.
I might have let it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not very sentimental or romantic.
I got that vibe.
Yeah,
by the way.
but
how about sexually? Are you like wild, or are you just like just straight?
I think it goes either way.
Oh. Depends on how much liquor.
I don't think being romantic and I think they're two different
things. Yeah. I think if it was 6 months in, it would have been. Not that I wouldn't have not appreciated it, but I think I would have like, oh, that's cute, like let it slide. 6 days, too much. Like pump the brakes a little bit. Please.
I've been a lifelong romantic, but I've done different types of romantic things. One of the things that I did years ago that I thought was very, very cool, and my cousin and I came up with this idea. We used to meet girls every summer when we hung out at the beach. We always used my parents, his parents, our family used to rent cottages at Chalker Beach in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. So we used to go every summer. So the fact that we were spending every summer there, you get to know people. And it's the same people that stay there every summer. So one summer we had met these girls, and, it was really cool. I mean, we're young. We're 13, 14 years old, so it's not like you're going to be, shagging at 14. But, we're kissing, we're roller skating, we're holding hands, we're hanging out on the beach. You're doing things that, you're kissing, and, it's fun stuff. So we wouldn't see each other. None of us drove. These people lived in different parts of the state or other states. So the fact that we couldn't drive, we would exchange addresses because there was no email in 1983. So what we used to do is my cousin and I would do these puzzles. Mm-hmm. So we would draw out or make these huge puzzles. So they would be, maybe like 3 feet by 3 feet or something, or 2 feet by 2 feet. But we draw out a puzzle, and it would always be some message. But you couldn't get the message until you got the centerpiece of the puzzle, like read the whole message. It would be like, I miss you so much, like little poems and this and that. And then each month, leading up to the next summer, we would send one piece of the puzzle to the girl. So at the end, right before we would see her, we did this like 3 times, like 3 summers. But the problem was we were doing it with different girls each summer. So, it was like we'd met these 2 different girls. So we're sending these puzzles, and they were identical puzzles, to 2 different sets of girls. So when we got to the beach that year, he was 16, I was 15, so he was driving. And it was that summer that he got a car. So when we got there, it just so happened that those girls had met each other at one of the bonfires, and they exchanged the fact that they both, over the past 12 months, got the same puzzle pieces from us. So that was a tough summer for me at age 15.
How'd you get out of that one? I mean,
and we didn't get. There was no getting out of that one. Hey, folks, this is Let's Flirt, sponsored by FriendFlirt.com. Are you satisfied with the quality of your online dates? If you're like most people, the answer is a resounding no. Conventional wisdom dictates the best way to find romance is meeting through mutual friends. Until now, online dating has been anonymous, ominous, and quite often onerous. Like the proverbial box of chocolates, you just never know what you're going to get. Well, enter FriendFlirt, combining the best that technology has to offer with the time-tested and best method of the ages, meeting through mutual friends. While most dating sites have you filling out extensive questionnaires in which you can always stretch the truth, the FriendFlirt Facebook app gets busy locating ideal matches for you by seeking out your friends and friends of friends who share your passions. You find someone you're interested in, and voila! It's safe, sane, and a sure thing. After all, who knows one better than one's friends? So sign up for FriendFlirt today and enjoy dating again. No more creepy phonies or cheesy cronies. No more online dating horror stories. Just real people, real profiles, and real quality matches. Sign up today at FriendFlirt.com. So, Elise, it's so glad to have you here. I mean, you have like a wealth of knowledge on dating and people that are trying to date. Through your blog, you've been at it a couple of years now.
Yeah, 2 years.
Is that right? Been had, you've been had it? Is that in today's vernacular? You've been had that blog for a couple of years. So tell us, over the past 2 years of doing this blog and doing some events around Boston and seeing just the dynamic between people dating, what is your opinion on online dating as a whole?
Online dating? I mean, I'm kind of old-fashioned. I really enjoy the FaceTime, you know what I mean? My blog really has just been a whole document of trial and error for the last 2 years of my life. But I mean, I tried the OkCupid thing just to see what it was like, and honestly, it's more at this age, I don't really think it works.
Well, what is it that you were looking for a couple of years ago when you first went to an online dating site and created your first profile, whatever that was, however old you were? What were you looking for?
I think I wanted to see what the hype was about because I'm such a skeptic. Yeah. And I know all of my friends were like on it, and they used it to just chat with guys. I don't think they ever seriously wanted to meet somebody. I think it's more of like, I mean, guys go on it for sex, and girls go on it. I mean, the girls who go on and outreach to other guys, I don't think are really doing that well on their own. So
yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people that are on Tinder now, and that's like purely a hookup app. That's just
that's like the grinder for.
It's like
I thought it was Blender.
No,
there's
Tinder.
Tinder and Blender.
Tinder and Grinder. Grinder is like
that's for the gay guys.
That's for the gay guys, and then Tinder is just for single people like in your area. It does,
I thought it was Blender. BLENDR was for heterosexuals.
There's probably a bunch of.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm sure there is. You know, I remember when I was younger, we would go to the bars. It would always be the stragglers. We called them stragglers. The girls that would hang out at the end till the bar closed, and they were still there, and they're just looking for some. They were, you know what? I think sex was something that they gave guys because it was expected, but they were just looking for some interaction. They were looking for someone to pay attention and to notice them. And I learned early on because I started working in nightclubs and bars when I was 14, 15. I wasn't old enough to be there back then, but it was 1981. The very first bar I ever worked in was called Dash 23. And, the big popular bands back then were, Kool and the Gang. And, I can go on with these stories. But make a long story short, I enjoyed that experience so tremendously because I learned so much about people, especially about women and dating at a super young age. 14, 15, 16 years old. I'm trying to hook up with these 21, 25-year-old girls.
Do you have parents?
They didn't know. Listen. I was a good storyteller when I was a kid. So yeah, I'm sleeping over so and so's house. That's where they thought I was. But no, I think I don't know if the dynamic is that much different nowadays. In that, guys, I know the way I grew up and what my friends wanted, and what my friends thought, and what I wanted, and sex was always. It wasn't the primary thing, but it became the primary thing. Is I wanted women to pay attention to me. I wanted to be noticed. So I started wearing like flashy clothes and saying off-color, kind of off-putting things. But people, one of my friends described me as he's like mold. He grows on you. Because at first I'm a little off-putting, but after a while you just realize that I
you have a disease?
I do it for the shock factor. Yeah, the disease is I do it for the shock factor. But it's almost like everyday life and political correctness is so dull and boring that you got to spice it up. And the only way to really spice it up is to say something that will spice it up. So that and when I created my first online dating profile, I didn't do that because I said, no, I want to approach this from the perspective that I'm a serious guy. You know, I'm a serious guy. I'm an educated guy. I got a good corporate job. This is the face that I want to present to the online dating world. And it didn't matter because all women gave a crap about is what did I look like and did I have a six-pack. That is exactly what happened to me. And even today, at 45 years old, even though I've been married for a while, you know, almost 10 years, even though my mind is still sort of thinking like a 21-year-old most of the time, but my body doesn't respond like a 21-year-old, I see it being at this radio station, being out at some events all around. I see it as clear as day. I hear the women talking because I've always been very friendly, and for some reason women just like to open up to me. It's always been that way my whole life because for whatever reason they think that I'm a safe guy to talk to, especially now I'm even safer than ever because I don't represent the threat. Because I'm not going to try to sleep with them. I'm not going to try to, you know, I'll flirt because that's just my personality, but that's as far as I take it. So they open up to me, and this is what I hear all the time. Well, I like that guy. He's kind of nice, but that other guy got such a great body. I'm like, are you that fucking shallow? Really? Like, you like this guy because he's got a great body, even though you know he's sleeping with these 4 other girls. Yeah, but I might be able to change him. Oh, really? You're going to change him. So it doesn't matter across the board until women change the fact, or actually, at least men around here scare the hell out of me. These guys, they do not take care of themselves in the majority of the guys in Boston. Very rare to find a guy with a great body who's got a great personality. You can find plenty of fat guys with great personalities, but you're not going to find...
What, have you been trolling for men?
No,
How do you know all this?
Women,
sometimes they don't have great bodies, but they're really nice.
Women tell me these things, Dana. I'm the oracle of wisdom here.
The oracle of lies. No, I think it depends. I would say what you're saying is a very broad generalization. I think everyone's looking for different. I mean, obviously, if you could date someone that you were physically attracted to and had all these other perks or whatever the actual word is, you know, you would ideally want someone that you connected with on multiple levels. But I don't think someone's gonna dump somebody because they don't have a six-pack or something. I think that's like absurd.
Oh, I think you're living in a dream world, Dana Dane.
Let me give you an example.
Please do.
I actually did have an OkCupid profile briefly because I hate myself apparently, but I'm just looking on here now, and this one guy, I won't say his name, and you know, whatever, but his profile picture is a picture of his chest and his six-pack. Like, I only clicked on it. I only clicked on it because to me that's like putting up a sign that says I'm a douchebag. Like, there's nothing to me that is that is like the most unattractive thing ever. Like, oh, you're a chest with no head, and like. I'm not even.
But you know how many girls email him and want to meet him?
I doubt it. I totally doubt it.
Pictures that get no responses are abs, cars, money, guns, and like your kid.
Yeah.
Is that yours? Is that profiles that don't get responses from you?
I will not message anybody.
You're not the average girl.
No, that is. I would totally agree with that. I would never even think about it.
You guys wouldn't because you have a little more depth of personality.
No. I tell my guy friends all the time that have like nieces and nephews, don't put your Facebook your profile picture with like your nieces and nephews. People are gonna think they're your kids.
Yeah.
And you're single, and girls are gonna be like, yeah, looks like he has kids. No thanks.
No, that's totally true. And I would bet, and I don't know this, you know, from, you know, any kind of fact-based analysis or anything, but I would bet that the majority of people who are trolling for just sexual things are probably guys. Like, most girls that go on to these sites are probably looking for actual, I don't know. The people that I know on there aren't just like, you know.
And guys are looking for the girls with the mirror selfies.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of a few of those, let's be honest.
Guilty as charged. Well, that's going to bring us up to the point in the program here where we take a look at your submissions that you send to us on the website and through Twitter and email and everything else. With the help of our audience, we pick a winner from the guys and gals for introduction, or should I say induction, into one of the most coveted clubs in the United States of America. For the ladies, it's the Pretty Pedi Posse, and for the gentlemen, it is the Six-Pack Platoon. So, Dimitri, can you put up some pictures of some of the submissions that we had today? If you're watching the video right now on the live stream, we're going to put them up there right now. Here are some gentlemen that have sent along the pictures of their six-packs. What do you think, Elise?
Hey.
Dana, what do you think about that? Look at those six-packs.
I just realized I just shit on guys for sending pictures of their six-packs. So I feel really like a total jerk. Just even.
If we got, what we're going to be doing with these gentlemen in the coming weeks, each week we're going to select a winner. So, gentlemen, please email us your pictures. You can do it on the IDEO website. You can also send them to social@friendflirt.com or letters@bigsauceradio.com. Send us your six-pack. Give us a quick little bio about yourself. You don't have to say much, a few bullet points or even one sentence. And we will vote. We will have our audience be voting coming up next month. We are putting in that technology where you can vote and let us know which of those abs are your favorite. At least, even though you say you don't like it, your eyes have been glued to that television screen since those abs went up there.
I'm just saying I'm not going to message you.
Yeah, no, that's a definite.
I'm working on this. Dana, I have made a commitment that by June I want to see abdominal muscles. I want to get. I'm doing yoga now 4 or 5 nights a week. I just came from a Bikram yoga class today, so I just have to shore up the diet. And I want a picture like that. I want for once in my life, I want to look like that. Is that bad to look that way?
No. Don't misunderstand. What I meant by that was if this was strictly for, like, online dating profiles, if you're just going to put a picture of your stomach, like, don't expect anyone to message you because it's, it's not just
or if you're looking for something other than dating.
Right.
Don't expect a quality female to respond to that type of a picture is what you're saying.
Right.
Coming from a quality female such as you are. A well-educated, very beautiful, quality female. Yes. She does not like compliments, by the way. Also, Dimitri, let's put up some pics from the ladies of their pretty pedicures. Also, we're going to induct some ladies into our Pretty Pedi Posse. You're going to have some great prizes coming up from our sponsors. It's going to be awesome. I do kind of dig the pink toenail polish, although I like the dark, like the maroon and black, which has come into fashion a lot lately. I do kind of like this light pink thing. I'm not sure about that one with all the different colors. I don't think I really dig the one with all the different colors in the nails. Like women now, they do their nails and like one nail is a different color than the others, but it sort of matches a little bit. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, my one thing about like pictures of feet online is I remember one girl. This is the only thing I will ever remember for the rest of my life about pictures of feet online. Is this girl posted a picture of her pedicure online and she had hairy toes.
Oh, gross.
Oh, no way.
Sasquatch.
I remember looking at it and just being like, all right, I'm just going to X out of this.
Yeah, why spend the money on a pedicure if you've got, like, caveman feet?
That is so totally disgusting. So, ladies and gentlemen out there, if you want to be part of the Pretty Pedi Posse or the six-pack platoon, can I say that 3 times fast? Six-pack platoon, six-pack platoon, six-pack platoon.
You should shoot for one time.
All right,
fast.
just one time. So if you're at home watching or listening, you too can be part of the platoon or the posse. Go to the website, ideo.com/Let's Flirt. And ladies, send your best pedicure pics. Guys, drop us your smoking six-pack picture, and you could be a winner here on Let's Flirt. Well, we're almost to the end of the show. I'm really disappointed. I love doing this, man. I love to talk about this stuff. I think online dating is a fascinating way to meet people, but you got to do it right. And part of what we're going to be doing in the coming weeks and months here is bringing on some experts in not only online dating, but experts in relationships to talk about this stuff. Therapists, people who have been out there, I don't want to say trolling the internet, but following along with what some of the best practices are. And, there's lots of groups in the corporate world that go out and do tons and tons of research to find out what are best. A lot of PhDs out there, Dana, do this stuff. They go and they crunch the numbers, and they dive and data mine into the data, or whatever you want to say, and they pull out this really useful information. There's a lot of people out there now who have been scouring these online dating websites, collecting information, and coming up with what I think are some good rules, some good steadfast rules to follow to keep yourself safe and protected. And one of the things that we offer here on Let's Flirt is sort of a platform for you to discuss this stuff. So please feel free to send us in your online dating horror stories, or if every once in a while you've got a good story, please send it. social@friendflirt.com is the email address. You can also leave it on the voicemail. We'll have the number up there, 724-472-8235. There's a lot of good to be done. I think a lot of good to be done through this show and through just offering this platform to talk about it and make fun of the people that we should be making fun of. in some of the ways that they present themselves. We're also going to be doing some live events all around the city, so at least we'll be talking with you about that. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be cool. I mean, it's a way, I suppose, for people to sort of dip their toe in the water, so to speak, and get a good feel for real people. Because if you're using Facebook, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to show up to an event using a fake profile. Because if you do, we're going to know right away. But why would you want to expend all that effort and go out and have this FriendFlirt app match you up with the perfect person that you could spend the rest of your life with, and you're misrepresenting yourself? I mean, you're doing yourself a disservice. This is not an app where you're going to be hooking up and having sex, but it is an app where you can raise the quality of your dates. And that was one of the big things that I always had an issue with. I mean, I didn't always go after, like, the best looking or everyone else, like the group thought was the best looking. I went after the person that I had a vibe with, that I felt some type of chemistry. And a lot of times the girls that I dated, my friends would make fun of them. Oh, she's got a big nose. Oh, she's a little heavy. Oh, she's got, whatever. They always had something to say. But I found something interesting about them. And what I think could have helped me way back to raise sort of the quality of those dates is knowing going into it that the girl likes the same kind of music, has the same behavior. And that's what's great about the FriendFlirt application, is because it uses Facebook and the data that Facebook collects about your online behavior to find out what you like, what you're passionate about, what your interests are, and it matches you up on literally hundreds of levels. So by the time it finds a match and you're physically attracted, like you like the way that guy or that girl looks, you are relatively certain, because their online behavior is similar to yours, you're going to have the same interests. So you want to go see the same bands. You want to go see, and don't get me wrong, it was one of the most fantastic things. When I met my wife, we had a lot in common. We had more in common than I had with any other girl that I've ever met. But a few of the things that I didn't know, or that I was never exposed to, that she introduced me to, opened up totally new worlds for me, and vice versa, the same thing for me. So there was a lot of music that she liked. We like the same music. We like EDM, dance, rap, this and that. But there's a lot of bands from the 70s and 60s that she had never heard of. And when I played them for her, I was like, wow. And then we started going to concerts. So it's things like that. But if you find someone who has the same base as you, sort of the same base of likes and dislikes, then you can build on that, and it really raises the quality of your date. So it's not that the first person that pops up you're going to get married to, although that might happen, you never know, but at least the quality of your dates it'll be a new bar that's set.
Well, and also, I mean, it seems like you'll be, it's almost to me like a LinkedIn for dating. So, you will be connected through people you know. So, I mean, say hypothetically you do feel like you're connecting with someone on, through this match, you can call someone on your friends list and say, is this person legit? So I think that's really nice. Takes away the creepiness of it. And also how artificial it is when you write some of these blurbs on these dating sites. You have to write a paragraph about yourself or answer these ridiculous questions. I was just reading one that I thought was hilarious. The most private thing I'm willing to admit, I'm into anal. This was the guy.
Nice.
But I mean, like, it's less artificial, and it feels more like, safe.
Yeah, excellent. So at least if things don't work out for you and this guy, we'll put you up on FriendFlirt.
Put me on FriendFlirt, see what happens.
You got to take a picture of your toes and send them to us.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
Get that pedicure. You do that for us?
Yeah, I can do that.
You got a lot of girls that read your blog, so when you hit them up, we need some toe pictures.
Make sure
shaven.
Shaven toes, please.
Shave them, girls, please. Shave those hairy toes. Let's Flirt is sponsored by FriendFlirt.com, combining the best that technology has to offer with the time-tested and best method of the ages for meeting that special someone, or someones if you subscribe to the polyamorous lifestyle. While most dating sites have you filling out those long-winded questionnaires, FriendFlirt's Facebook app will immediately get to work scouring your social media sphere of influence, matching you up with others most compatible with you. Seeks out your friends of friends who share your interests and passions. When you see someone you like, simply tell your friend, what's he or she really like? Okay, introduce me. If your friend says yes or no, if your friend says, well, he's a doofus, well, then you say, why are you friends with him then? Thanks so much for listening. On behalf of Elise, please check out her blog, that'swhatshesaidboston.com. Also, Dana DC, it's so good to see you again. I know I only get to see you once a week. We got to make that more than that. Jess the Love Gun will be back next week. Wish her a lot of luck at Fenway Park. She is up for the announcer position also. So if you go to Fenway Park, you just might hear Jess on the microphone introducing the players. How exciting is that? Thanks again for watching and listening. This is Let's Flirt on IDEO Broadcast Network.